Ready or not, it's time for another episode of MB2 Underground, where you don't have to feel stuck between a rook and a hard place. Today, we're excited to be braiding ideas together, and we hope your attention doesn't wane. I'm Sarah Keifer.
And I'm JT, Jonathan Tyroch.
Braden.
Best intro yet.
Did you understand the Reti?
I can't say that I did.
Okay, you'll have to introduce our guest and see if he gets it.
Well, I think you kind of already introduced him.
Only if they caught it.
Well, maybe. So today this one I think is a special one for me because this is a friend of mine and someone who I got introduced to at MB2 when I came over, and we have done a ton of work together. He's been incredibly involved in the growth. So without further delay, I'd like to introduce Braden Wayne, partner and attorney at Steckler, Wayne Love. What's up, Braden?
Nothing much. It's all slowly coming together.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It slowly comes together a lot on this podcast.
Slowly being the keyword. Did you get the reference?
No.
Okay,
Should
so
I
you're
have?
recently a chess aficionado.
No.
Oh.
I'm terrible at chess. I recently picked it up.
Oh, so aficionado is the wrong word.
Aficionado is a bad word.
It's like, son of a bitch, we got the wrong notes.
So what is ret? Like I feel like I know about chess.
Richard Reti was like and he created the end game mentality or something about chess.
Oh.
I did a little bit.
I
of
haven't
research.
gotten to end game yet. I'm still
That's why.
at beginning game.
So
opening.
you're still just playing online with 7-year-olds?
Yeah. Well, that sounds bad.
Are you? It does sound bad. I can't even ask the question. The opponents that you play, whether they're 7 or
Minors.
17 or 70, are you
Yep.
winning or losing more?
Well, I'm losing more,
Okay.
I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah.
But are you learning?
I'm learning.
Are you having fun?
I'm learning a lot. I'm not having fun.
Are you having
I'm
any
told it'll
fun?
be good for me long term.
What was it?
What was it?
Yeah.
Why?
What was it that got
Why,
you into
though?
chess? Like, why not poker?
Why?
Well, poker I know I'm not good at.
Oh, okay.
Chess I hadn't tried yet.
Oh, okay.
So there was a chance I could be good.
I felt that way with running.
That vision's slowly disappearing.
You don't think it'll be a long-term hobby?
No, I think it will be.
You're just always going to be really
The
bad at
prospect
it.
of being good is disappearing.
I could
But
almost promise you, if you and I played right now, you would win.
Do you think you could kick our butts with the sneakers that you have because you're a sneakerhead?
Was that intro number 2?
Sure.
Okay.
this
was
is
all
all
cut.
prepped. I like this.
Yes.
I like this. Yeah, I think a true sneakerhead might take offense to me being called a sneakerhead. I'm not your traditional sneakerhead, and they probably wouldn't welcome me in their ranks.
Do you have a holy grail of sneaker that you either own or want to own in one day?
I have one. And it's the one that got me started.
Is it the left one or the right one? I'm done. Go ahead.
Hey, I told you this was super chill. No, tell us
This
about
is-
the one
this
that
is
got us
quick
started.
for the wheels to come off.
That's right. It's the only way.
The one that got me started. Okay, so I have several clients in the footwear industry, different parts of the footwear industry, whether it's manufacturing, wholesale, distributing, retailing, and there are obviously when shoes get made, sometimes factories make mistakes, and when they do, maybe they sew a stitch wrong, or they put the wrong color on, or maybe it's big and they put like the Nike swoosh on backwards or something. Blasphemy. Well, another B word, blem. They call them blems. Blemish.
Awesome.
Blem
yeah.
shoes. Yeah, B grades, blems.
We're not
defective.
sneakerheads, so you gotta.
I'm not either yet.
Oh.
I'm working on that.
getting
as well.
there.
I'm getting there.
It's like chess. He's getting there.
Yeah. But you don't need skill for this, so I might get there.
So you want shoes that have the Nike logo wrong?
Well, you want blems because they're one of a kind. They're very
One-of-one.
unique shoes.
Whoa.
So
That's like so metaphorical for like, even if you're broken and wrong, you're still one of a kind.
someone still wants you.
Yeah, hopefully.
There's someone out there for you.
I love it.
Yeah. Even a blind squirrel finds nuts twice a day.
His own.
I think you've mixed a couple of sayings there. Yeah. I think that's the broken clock that's right twice a day. But even blind squirrels find nuts. Yes. Oh gosh. Okay. So, Braden, wheels.
That was intentional, by the way.
I know. Sometimes you have to explain things a little bit more to both myself and Sarah. We've, I think, encountered a couple of times on the podcast where things have come up and I am completely lost, as is Sarah. So,
Well, the opening went right over my head. So
I was so proud of that.
no, it was good.
I found it on
it
a
was,
chess
it was
forum.
it was too good.
Okay, so
man.
you're an attorney.
I'm an attorney.
Yeah, all right. You mentioned sneakers and clients.
Yep.
Did little Braden Wayne grow up wanting to be an attorney, or did he have some like life event that led him down the legal path?
I think it was a slow slide into being an attorney.
Can you slide slow?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I did
It's
into
like,
being an
it's
attorney.
like slowly
Yeah.
falling down a mountain. You can kind of do that, right?
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Right.
Yeah, you glided into it. Okay.
I glided. That's a better word. I glided
Thank you.
into it. I glid.
Glid, if you will.
But no, I grew up wanting to be a cop. I wanted to be a police officer.
Whoa.
No
Yeah.
kidding.
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Was there something like, I guess, what led you to want to be a police officer?
Cops? I watched Cops every single night.
The show.
The show.
No, you meant like
Not
the-
actual
them.
cops as well. Sure.
Did you ever watch the show LAPD?
Yeah.
So that was like cops on steroids.
Yeah.
It was so
That would be a
legit.
cool show.
Oh, it was
You know what
so
else
legit.
was? LAPD tie-in is Speed.
Yes.
That's one of my favorite movies of all time.
No kidding.
Jack Traven. Yeah. LAPD.
Jack Traven.
I'm a huge Keanu fan.
Yeah. Who's not?
I mean, he's an awesome dude. But
He's-
back to being a cop.
Yeah. So I want to be a cop.
Okay.
Then I decided, you know what? I'm going to go big or go home. I'm going to do the FBI.
Nice.
So I went to school for criminal justice outside of D.C. in Virginia. But it was like an interdisciplinary major. There's no like criminal justice class. So took a lot of classes in sociology, a lot in philosophy, a lot in political science. Part of political science, right, is you learn about the judicial system. So I took a constitutional law class as an undergrad, and I just fell in love with it. Decided, okay, this is it. I want to be a judge. I want to be a justice. I decided I wanted to be a justice on the Supreme Court. But
Okay, so you went.
From your judicial class.
yes.
Yes.
Got it.
So you went and you were doing poli-sci and
Sociology.
humanities
Sociology,
courses. So yeah,
Philosophy.
and you wanted to then be a Supreme Court justice.
Supreme Court justice.
That's a high standard or high bar.
I have found that out.
You seem a little bit like a flip-flopper to me.
I seem like
I
a
don't-
flip-flopper?
FBI.
I don't think it's a
Judicial.
flip-flopper. I think, I just think Braden's like, oh, this would be a cool level to be at. Oh, this would be a cool level
like
to be
that
at.
better.
And he
Yeah,
like
just
going bigger and bigger.
continues quite literally to
Bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Okay. Judicial.
No, I went too big. Supreme Court was too big. It was too big.
Okay.
But to be on the Supreme Court, you do have to have a law degree. So I went to law school.
So it was step one in a larger plan.
It was.
Cool, I
And
like that.
as is wont to happen, I took step one and then veered off in a different direction.
So does that mean you can't do it now?
No, I guess I could.
Okay, so it's not off the table.
It's not off the table. This podcast might take it off the table if this gets out.
Yeah, probably.
Be in my confirmation hearing.
We could put some privileged something on this maybe,
Yeah.
and so it won't be part of public record. Maybe.
Yeah, that would
Maybe.
be fine. But anyway, yeah. So that's how I decided to be a lawyer. Wanted to be a judge, and I just stopped halfway there.
Did you ever like venture into what is it? Is it
Judging?
Judging?
The
Did you ever
judiciary.
judge up the past?
Judiciary. There you go.
I worked for a judge in Dallas.
Okay.
A long-time, kind of well-known judge in
Which
Dallas.
one?
His name was Merrill Hartman.
Oh, I didn't know if you'd be able to tell us. Never mind. Keep
Okay.
going.
I was
I think-
bluffing. I don't know. Judge Reinhold. No, yeah, I worked for Merrill Hartman, which was really, really interesting. Through working in his courtroom, I met another lawyer by the name of Craig Smith, who then actually ended up taking over for Judge Hartman on the 192nd Court, and he's now on the Fifth Court of Appeals in Dallas. But he's been a mentor of mine. That's how I met him, was by working for Judge Hartman.
That's cool.
That is
Yeah.
cool.
Did you take any like lessons? I mean, obviously you're not in judicial
Ling.
law or
Judicial
court or whatever. Did you take any lessons from the time with the judges and in that like a
Period.
period or section of the law like that you've carried into today, into private practice?
Yeah, I think all of those experiences, end up shaping who you are and what kind of attorney you are and the way you practice and the way you present. So yeah, being in the courtroom is is I think, a really necessary part of learning how to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
Whether you want to litigate or not, but understanding how to get up in front of people and speak and articulate, that's important. That's very important. Whether you're going to be a litigator, whether you're going to be a judge, whether you're going to be a transactional lawyer, or whether you're just going to be a human, right? And communicate with people in life,
Yeah.
that's a useful skill to have.
Well, and you came out of law school, I guess, on your way to judicialing, and now your name is in the place you work. What have you learned through the transition from being like a baby attorney to being a guy whose name's in the building?
That's another good question.
Thank you.
Sarah.
Came prepared.
You did come prepared. What have I not learned? I've learned a lot, along the way. I started out obviously at a firm as a very young associate, working on small car wreck cases, state minimum coverage insurance cases.
Sick.
Yeah, quite.
I was. Thank you for asking.
Just to think, we could have had the law dog Braden Wayne sitting across the table from us if he stayed on that path.
That's right. Yeah, it would have been the Texas law hammer.
Yeah,
could have been.
Could have been. Now you're just super lawyer.
Super lawyer.
Yeah. Sorry. Continue.
Trademark, copyright. And I worked in a lot of different areas of the law, doing transactional work, doing different types of litigation, doing just general business counsel. Learned what I liked, what I didn't like, and you tend to be good at what you like. So finding what you like is a big part of the battle in terms of finding what you want to do long term.
Yeah.
So I found something I liked, which was business counsel, and I've done that ever since. And it's something I really enjoy.
I asked this question to a previous guest that I want to ask you. In the journey from baby attorney to where you're at now, what is the best mistake you made?
I would say every mistake has been very valuable.
I like that.
Yeah, I think this is very cliche, but they call it practicing law. You're practicing for a reason. You're constantly learning, and you learn like anything else. You learn through your mistakes. The hope is that they're small mistakes, and you learn them before you make them in a bigger setting.
Yeah.
So yeah, every mistake has been valuable. Every mistake I've made, and there have been a lot of them, has trained me to be the lawyer I am today. And I still continue to make mistakes, and I will continue to make mistakes after today. But making those mistakes is a huge part of shaping kind of your practice of law. And then you make that mistake. Hopefully you can teach that lesson to someone so they don't have to make that mistake to learn it.
Good answer.
Yeah, that's a great answer.
Thank you.
Before we get into, I'll say, transactional law and how your path kind of crossed with MB2 and the work that we get to do together, you still do some litigation, don't you?
I do.
Do you enjoy, what is it about litigation that you enjoy, or do you enjoy it?
Well, I think litigation is very competitive. So it definitely scratches that itch for me. I grew up playing sports. It's all zero sum. Litigation is very zero sum, as opposed to transaction, which should not be zero sum. So I enjoy that aspect of it, and I think I would say this to anyone who wants to be a transactional lawyer: get some experience litigating, whether you like it or not, whether you want to do it long term or not. Litigate a case. Litigate a transactional case, if you will. Litigate a deal that's gone wrong. A business partnership that went south. Litigate something like that so that when you're working on transactions, you're not working on them from a blank slate. You understand what happens after you draft the documents and they get signed.
Right.
You understand how these provisions impact people on a daily basis, right? And how they might, a little word here or there, or a comma, or a clause that you think is boilerplate and doesn't matter, how in the long run that can have a huge impact on big companies, right? And so I think if you have that experience of litigating on the back end, it makes you a better attorney on the front end.
And you mentioned a second ago, learning from your mistakes helps you make sure that other people aren't making the same mistakes. You've had to cultivate a team around you with where you're at in your career. What have you learned in doing that?
Surround yourself with very smart people, I think is what I've learned. I have an incredible team that is very enmeshed with MB2 and has learned the ins and outs of MB2 and what you guys like, what your philosophies are, what your ethos is, and working with a team that is, definitely smarter than you are is a great asset to have, and it's something I definitely have.
Love it.
Yeah, I mean, I will absolutely prop up the team. We were talking about this beforehand. They're incredible folks. So shout out Paige and Jack.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome.
Absolutely. And that was a big fear, right, in bringing on people to do the work that I had been doing. As MB2 was growing, we needed more hands. I couldn't do it all, right? And there tends to be somewhat of an arrogance that, no one's going to be able to do it as well as I can. And if you're somewhat of a control freak or type A,
I wouldn't know.
that's a very common feeling, right? No one's going to be able to do this as well as I can. Mm-hmm. Well, obviously, that's not true, right? My team does it better than I do. So, but finding the right people is a big part of it.
Well, and they have big shoes to fill. I know I was making jokes about super lawyer, but didn't you win like an actual super lawyer award?
I did.
That's an actual award.
It's an actual.
We should have brought him a cape.
Award.
I pictured like the Superman shirt under.
Yeah,
That's what we should have
done. That would be a very Dr. V.
That might be something.
Really tie things together.
The next litigation case. That's what you need to do. You need to wear a shirt as you walk in. You can just bust it open and be like,
I think they have
here.
rules. I don't think you can do that.
They actually do have rules. Well, unwritten rules. You're always supposed to wear a jacket in court, and there is an attorney here at MB2 that told me that story one time. He's got a funny story about.
Like I said, practicing law is about making mistakes and learning from them.
Well, and Super Lawyer is not the only award you've won. You've won a few. What are you the most proud of? Which out of the D Magazine Super Lawyers, Best Lawyers, all of the Lawyers Awards is your most proud moment?
I'm proud of all of them. That's a very diplomatic answer. Tells me I probably spend a little too much on advertising, and maybe I'll scale that back. But no, they all mean a lot. Like I said, I'm competitive. You want to win things, but as a commercial attorney representing businesses, you don't get business from billboards on the highway, right? You get business from either A, your existing clients, they refer you clients, or B, you get them. You get business from your peers, from other attorneys. So winning awards is great in terms of these are, peer nominated or peer voted awards. It's nice to know that my friends in the industry think somewhat highly of me.
Yeah. I mean, again, the work that we've been able to do together, it does not surprise me in the least bit. When did you get hooked up with MB2, and how did that transpire?
I'll give you one guess who hooked me up with MB2.
Pepper Pat.
Uncle Pucks. JP, Justin Puckett, The Hammer, El Presidente. I got a call from, Justin and I started off at the same law firm right out of law school. We worked together kind of in our formative years, formative professional years at least. And both went our separate ways, but obviously stayed in touch. And I had done some small projects here and there for MB2. But, there was significant growth at MB2 in 2018 and 2019.
Those were the years.
Some growth. Mm-hmm. And, Tony and Justin were handling all of the deal work in-house.
I forget that it used to be like our in-house counsel doing all of those.
Yeah.
And then they're like, help us.
And that was great when you guys had one deal a month. You're bringing on one practice a month. But, as that grew and grew, they need help. So they brought on our firm. Justin and Tony called, asked if it's something I'd be interested in. And that's how we got started. That was in 2019.
Do you remember your first deal that you worked on with us?
The first deal may have been, it was in Oklahoma, I believe. Maybe Dr. Laro.
Okay.
Lawton.
Yes.
Lawton Kids.
That's cool.
Dentistry
that was a very early
Shout
one. And we're probably, 600 practices past that deal.
Oh, yeah. No,
which
for
is
sure.
just crazy to think about.
Do any of them stand out to you as like, oh my gosh, that one was complicated? You don't have to say which one. I just
Yeah. Yes, the ones that stand out are the ones that don't get done. Right. Yeah, but that's kind of the MB2 approach with the partnership model, right? It is a very different experience representing MB2 in deal work, transactional work, than it is in representing, other companies, because of the partnership aspect of it. If you have problems such that you're just documenting the partnership is problematic, such that 2 or 3 years later I remember it, that's a partnership that's not going to work.
Yeah.
So a big part of the deal work is just identifying the deals that shouldn't get done, right?
Yeah.
I would say the best documents, the best partnership documents, are the ones that sit in a drawer collecting dust.
Yeah.
Or whatever the modern digital analog of that
That's
is.
right. That's right. Well, Dr. V, we had him on the podcast recently, and he told the story about their first operating agreement where all the partners sat around the table, and the attorney comes in and drops it on the table, and Dr. V picks it up and looks at it, looks around the table and says, I won't read it if you guys don't read it. And they're like, okay, deal. And so they all went in with the same understanding of, hey, we're going to govern ourselves the way that we need to, rather than by I won't say the letter of the law, but this isn't going to define. Yeah, this isn't going to define our partnership. Our partnership is between us, which is a absolute huge thing to be able to identify early.
Well, and I watched that episode and I saw that, and obviously as an attorney you're like, oh my God, terrible, frightening. I hate hearing that.
I know, I saw your face even as he said the story again.
But if you think about it, it's so emblematic of who Dr. V is and who MB2 is as a company, right? It's partnership. It's partnership first. Let's not resort to the legal documents. If we're resorting to the legal documents, we've made a mistake somewhere along the way.
Yeah.
For the listeners and viewers and prospective partners that are going to tune into this.
And my dad.
And your dad. What's something that you would, not necessarily legal advice, disclaimer, this is not legal advice, but what's something that maybe a dentist exploring a transaction with a partner, MB2, or another group, like what's something that you would put on their radar as far as like the degree of care they need to take with the documents, or is it document related, or is it really just that interpersonal, hey, you need to make sure you've got a good fit? Like, is there something that you can impart on us that they could take and say, hey, this was good. I can take this into my conversations.
Yes, make this podcast worth airing, please.
It's not yet. That's what I'm taking away.
I mean,
no, I'm just kidding. That's
like you said, JT, this is not legal advice.
Yep.
But
for everybody listening, this is not legal advice.
Not legal advice.
We've all said it now.
That's right.
I would say if you're a dentist looking at partnering, you think about what's your life going to look like on a daily basis. It's not based on what the legal documents look like, right? It's not based on what the financial statement looks like. It's about who you're working with, who you're practicing with, who's supporting you. Those are the things you should probably be paying attention to. Not saying don't have a lawyer involved in the legal aspect of it, not saying don't have a financial advisor involved in the financial aspect of it, but let the lawyer work on the law, let the financial, professional work on the money component, and you focus on, who do you want to work with on a daily basis? Is it this group? Is it that group? Do I want to stay on my own? And I think that's probably what I would say. It's a good question because I generally don't think about it from that perspective, right? When you're a hammer, everything's a nail. I'm a lawyer, everything is document related. But documents are not the partnership, right? Financial statements are not the company. Something I see a lot with CFOs not named Jackson, but I have a tough time separating or understanding, appreciating the fact that a a company is separate and distinct from their financial statement, or a company is separate and distinct from their operating agreement. They're a living, breathing entity.
Finding the narrative to match the data.
Yeah.
Who's your inspiration?
This is an easy one.
Oh, good.
This is an easy one. My wife. My wife's my inspiration.
That's
Nice.
cute.
Yeah.
Why though?
So, my wife and I met in 2021, 2022.
How?
2022. We met, our dads were best friends growing up, and we did not know each other.
Oh my God, that's
but our
so
dads knew each
cute.
other. And 2022, when we met, we were both kind of coming out of respective darker times in our life, right? I was going through a divorce, and her dad had passed away recently.
Oh man.
And when I say my life changed when I met her, I mean that. My life changed completely when I met her. I thought I was living in color before, and I look back and it's grayscale. So I would say she's my
I just
inspiration.
got goosebumps. Holy cow.
Is it
That was
cold?
very sweet. No, that was a very sweet thing to say.
Thank you. She's Savannah's my wife. And I would say, I have a 10-month-old son, Copeland.
Your life's really changed now,
my
too.
life is really changing.
Even more.
And he's quite an inspiration on a different level, right? On a much grander time scale, right? I look at things a lot differently now. I look into the future more than I used to before I had.
That's what I was going to ask is you talk about how Savannah has changed your perspective and how you see things. What's a tangible example of that?
She has an uncanny ability to manifest. She's so confident in what she wants and what she believes in. And she makes her own luck. There are people in the world you go through, that person's just lucky.
The opposite
right?
of victim mentality.
Yeah, she has the opposite of a victim mentality. And she is living, breathing evidence of making your own luck.
That's cool.
I don't know how she ended up with me. That's unfortunate for her, but
she made her own luck. That's what I'm thinking.
She manifested you.
That's right.
But yeah, that's certainly something I've taken away from meeting her, and my life has changed because of it.
That's actually a really sweet story. And I know we talked earlier about a judge, I think, out of Dallas that was a mentor. Any other mentors of note or lessons you've gotten from people that have inspired you or mentored you or taught you throughout your career and life, I guess?
Yeah, I think everyone I've worked with, everyone I've worked for has taught me something.
What did I teach you?
I haven't worked with you much.
We did back in the day.
We did.
Sad.
No, yeah. We haven't worked much together,
Keifer.
right?
Yeah.
Not at least on a deal basis.
We have.
We have quite a bit.
Okay, then what has JT taught you?
Perpetual optimism.
Oh, God.
Yeah, perpetual optimism. It pays off.
I appreciate that.
And JT's an incredible deal guy. He is an incredible deal guy. An uncanny ability to spot good partners.
What has Braden taught you, JT?
Braden, I mean, the work ethic and leadership that he's had. I mean, we've already mentioned his team. The fact that we can work together annually and do 100-ish, plus or minus deals a year, with the velocity that we move and the ability for him to literally level up the work that he was doing with the people. I mean, it just goes to show the leadership that he has, the capabilities and ability that he had to coach up a team so that they are exceeding what Braden would do, and then still he can come back in when needed. He recognizes, can identify the issues and step in, but he allows the team to basically crush it, and they do. And so what I've learned is that I need to spend a lot of time with Braden as we continue to develop MB2 in our BD team and say, what can you teach me, and what can you teach us so that we continue to level up our stuff.
This is such a cute moment. Y'all are so cute together.
This is a
I
moment.
would give you a hug right now. If I
There are
could
wires and
across the
cameras between us,
table.
but yeah.
Nobody
Yeah.
wants that. Before we wrap up, Braden, is there anything that we didn't touch on that you wanted to, I guess, as JT would say, impart wisdom upon our listener?
Wait. Is that your voice for me?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
It's like British standard
I
pronunciation.
mean, it was. I was like,
Was it
gosh.
received pronunciation. You know, we didn't talk about my bagels, which is disappointing.
I literally in prep said we needed to talk about the fact that you were making homemade bagels, and he landed on chess and sneakers.
It's a big part of who I am.
Really?
Tell us about it, Doe.
You're good at these.
That's
You're
the
good at these.
third.
you.
That's the third intro.
My
she
interest
prepped.
is rising.
that we've gotten.
Yeah. She's just gonna smear it all over the place.
Oh no.
That was
There's kind of a hole in that logic, I think.
Ah, amazing.
I don't have anything else.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I started making bagels in probably 5 years ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
COVID.
Yes, it was. Was it a COVID? Yeah, it was a COVID thing.
You're just at home and you're like, I want to see
make
some dough
bagels.
rise.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I kind of actually remember there was like a weird time period during.
People got very into all sorts of baked goods.
Yeah.
I didn't.
COVID was a weird time period. Full
Yeah.
stop. Period.
Yes. Fact.
But
Yeah.
well, Braden, thanks for coming on, man. This has been a lot of fun. You know.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's
Good to
been
be here.
awesome. It's been awesome. MB2 Undergrounders, we are now at the end of another episode. We look forward to seeing you guys next time. Peace.
Checkmate.